is not a straight line. Liz Cheney is 56 years old. She could run for president in 2024 or 2028 or 2032.
I mean, you could say Teddy Roosevelt left the Republican Party, ran as the Bull Moose candidate, and then the party actually tried to recruit him 8 years later to run as a Republican again.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Will the delusions never end when it comes to this conversation around Liz Cheney, okay? Because when she lost in an embarrassing fashion, she suffered a crushing defeat to Trump-backed candidate Harriet Hageman in her home state of Utah. She compared her loss to Abraham Lincoln, right? She compared herself to Abraham Lincoln. Now you have the mainstream liberal media comparing her to Teddy Roosevelt, okay? They are literally comparing her to two of the greatest Republican presidents that we've ever had. Now, some people may disagree with that and say that Trump is the greatest or Ronald Reagan is the greatest. I'm just saying, historically speaking, I mean, they've ranked as the two greatest Republican presidents that we had. But I get it. That's an argument. That's a video for another day. I'm just saying, right? The comparisons are in the realm of delusion. Everything about Liz Cheney is delusional, including this interview that I'm going to talk about that Liz Cheney did with the mainstream liberal media that really shows why I don't like Liz Cheney and people like Adam Kinzinger, okay? Because they're not doing what they're doing out of principle. They're doing what they're doing because they want to advance their own careers and to save their legacies, okay? They want to get in bed with the establishment in the Democrat Party, right? So with that being said, I want to talk about this delusional interview from Liz Cheney, right? That she did that I just have to go over because it really does blow my mind that this woman believes the things that she says, right? I actually don't believe that she believes these things. But anyways, before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so by checking out some of my new merch, my Donkey Pox shirts, the disease that is affecting America. You can get that at the website, or you can check out my hashtag no days off / hard work patriotic t-shirts, or you can check out a new shirt, one of my favorites, my MAGA Hub shirt, right? MAGA Hub shirt. You can get those at the website gforemanbcp.com. Use discount code gforemanbcp for 20% off. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll this clip of Liz Cheney discussing why she believes that, you know, she can become president in 2024, which is delusional, and also why she believes that Trump and people like Ron Desantis, Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz can't be president. They can't run for president. They can't be allowed to be the Republican primary candidates. They should be disqualified from being president in 2024, and all the other delusional stuff that she seems to believe. Take a look.
You told me a little over a year ago that you didn't think Donald Trump could win the Republican nomination again. You said there are millions and millions of Republicans that wouldn't let that happen. Do you still believe that?
Yeah, I think we have to make sure that he is not our nominee. I do believe that there are millions of Republicans out there, independents and Democrats as well. And I think that, you know, I believe in Republican policies. I believe if you think about where the country needs to go, election denial, denying the fundamental function and principle, you know, the center of our constitutional republic is dangerous, broadly speaking. And he is certainly leading that effort and leading that movement. And he also, because we know precisely what he will do, because he has done it.
So you've said that you're going to think about running for president. Would you be running to send a message, or would you be running to win?
No, look, you run for president because you believe you would be the best candidate, because you believe you'd be the best president of the United States. And so any decision that I make about doing something that significant and that serious would be with the intention of winning, and because I think I would be the best candidate.
Would your path be inside the Republican Party or outside the Republican Party?
I haven't made any specific decisions or plans about that at this point.
So running as an independent is a possibility. It's one of the things you're thinking
I'm
about.
not going to go down that path anymore in terms of speculating.
Yeah, so is it just me, or does it look like every time you see Liz Cheney, it looks like she's about to cry, right? She has this resting crying face, right? Where it looks like she's about to break down in tears at any given moment, right? Am I the only person that notices that? But anyways, as you can see there, guys, the obvious level of delusion, right? It is just astronomical. She believes that Trump can't be, or he won't be, he can't win the Republican nomination, but she can't, right? She can't. The person who just got blown out in her own state by a Trump-backed candidate, she believes that America, the Republican base, is going to choose her over Trump. Wow. Again, she should be disqualified from being an elected representative just because she's not living in reality, right? She doesn't understand her own base. If you still believe that the base will get behind the old guard Republicans, again, like the Liz Cheneys, the Bushes, right, of the world, you are delusional. You're living in cuckoo for Cocoa Puff world. And what blows my mind is that the mainstream liberal media has bought into this, right? They bought into this idea that Liz Cheney is going to save the Republican Party.
I think she has been, look, I would say that she's unleashed, but she was pretty unleashed before the election. But I think she will be an extremely relevant figure in her party, I think, across the board. I think she seems like she is one committed not only to sort of take down Donald Trump, but to take down the sickness of her party. I mean, she seems to be going more broadly beyond January 6th at this point. She's talking about denial. She's talking about election denial, January 6th denial. The question is, will she go into like COVID denial or climate denial, things like that going forward?
Basically, is Liz Cheney going to go full shield for the Democrat Party? Because that is what this is. I think what Liz Cheney's ultimate goal is here is to eventually become a Democrat. That's what she wants. Because mainstream media talks about, well, she's going to be relevant because she can raise money. Well, raise money from who? Corporations, right? Raising money for corporations doesn't equal victory, right? You need to have the people on your side, right? She does not have the Republican base on her side at all, okay? Apparently, she has Democrat voters that love her, even though I think that if she actually was in an election, when it comes to her versus a traditional Democrat, she would get blown out. Right? The Democrats would not be on her side at all. And she would quickly face the reality of what the Democrats actually really think about her. They don't like her at all. They only like her because she's a useful tool to attack Trump. But I think that what Liz Cheney believes in her head is that she can become a Democrat. She really believes that maybe if I run as a Democrat, the Democrats hate Joe Biden, right? Maybe there's a rejection of the progressive left policies. If I run as this centrist Joe Manchin type Democrat, then maybe I can win. Or maybe I can continue to be a useful tool of the Democrats because that seems to be her life's goal at this point. And just, run as an independent during the general election, okay? And I'm going to take away votes from Trump. I'm going to take away votes from the Republicans to prevent Trump from winning. She knows she has zero chance of actually becoming president, right? And one of the reasons why I believe that her ultimate goal may be to switch parties and to run as a Democrat is because of her refusal to attack and go after the Democrats on the same issue that she claims is such an existential threat to our democracy, to the point where she says that Republicans who engaged in election denialism, right, should not be qualified to run for president.
When you look at somebody like Josh Hawley or somebody like Ted Cruz, both of whom know better, both of whom know exactly what the role of Congress is in terms of our constitutional obligations with respect to presidential elections, and yet both of whom took steps that fundamentally threatened the constitutional order and structure in the aftermath of the last election. So, in my view, they both have made themselves unfit for future office.
What about Desantis?
DeSantis is somebody who is right now campaigning for election deniers. And I think that is something that I think people have got to have real pause about. Either you fundamentally believe in and will support our constitutional structure or you don't.
Yeah, and this is why I believe that Liz Cheney is full of it, okay? Because what she is going after Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz for is the exact same thing that the Democrats like Maxine Waters and Jamie Ratkins, who is her colleague on the January 6th committee, they did back in 2016 when Trump was elected, right? They contested the election results in Congress, or they attempted to, knowing that Trump was rightfully elected president of the United States. but they contested anyways because they were upset that Trump won. Why is it that Liz Cheney has no smoke for them? Why are you not bringing that up? Because if you were principled on this issue, if you said, look, denying the election results is just wrong in principle, why are you not going after the Democrats for doing the exact same thing to Trump in 2016? The only difference is that Democrats didn't make as big of a deal out of that ceremony or that procedure as the Republicans did. That's the only difference. Because you can't say it's unconstitutional, it's not constitutionally allowed, it's against the Constitution. That's a lie, because it's definitely allowed. You can contest the election in Congress, right? That's why the ceremony is there, okay? So you can't say it's not constitutional, because if that's the case, then why are you not going after the Democrats? This is how I know she's fake. This is how I know what she's saying is not grounded in any principle. It's the same thing with her talking about January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. But you ain't got nothing to say about the far left woke revolutionaries that have literally tried to intimidate and threaten Supreme Court justices at their homes. You ain't got no smoke for that. No smoke whatsoever. And that's a policy that you disagree with them on. You support Roe v. Wade being overturned. Allegedly, you support it. So when Democrats are a threat to democracy, you ain't got nothing to say. Oh, let me turn the other way because I'm too busy attacking Republicans and being a shield for the Democrats because I want to be in the good graces of the Democrat establishment, right? I want to be in the same room. I want to be invited to their parties, right? That's exactly what this is. If Liz Cheney came out here and said, you know what? I just think denying the election is wrong, right? And Democrats did it in 2016. Republicans did it in 2020. I'm going to attack both parties for it. I'm principled on this. I'll say, all right, well, you know what? At least you're going out to both sides for it. Even though I would disagree with the idea that you can't deny an election. I think that's anti-free speech to say that you can't do that. I think you should be allowed to say, hey, I got questions about the election. You should be able to freely think about the election, right? I think that is anti-democratic. That is anti-free speech. But if she was doing that, I would say, well, at least it's grounded in some principle. If she was going after the BLM rioters and the Antifa riots the same way she's going after January 6th, I'll say, well, at least she's principled on the attacks against our institutions, the political violence going on in this country. But she's not saying that. She's not talking about that. She doesn't have anything to say about that. And that's why she's full of it. Because if she was saying those things, honestly, I wouldn't have much smoke for Liz Cheney because I don't care about her criticizing Trump. I think it's fair game to criticize any politician. No politician or leader, especially elected representative, they should not be above criticism. Her criticizing Trump, I have no issues with that, even though I had questions about it because she voted in line with Trump at a 90+% clip. Same thing as Adam Kinzinger, right? More so than people like Elise Stefanik, who pledged allegiance to Trump. So again, I got questions because you don't disagree with Trump on policy. What are you actually trying to do here? Again, what you're trying to do here is save your legacy. When you seemingly agree with all of Trump's policies that were good for America, objectively. So you care more about your own legacy than you care about the policies, which are actually what matter to the American people. January 6th doesn't matter. January 6th has no lasting effect on this country whatsoever outside of you still got political prisoners that are locked up for essentially touring the Capitol on January 6th. Outside that, it has no lasting effects. Why are you still talking about it? Because it's about her. It's not about saving democracy. She doesn't care about that. If she cared about that, she would be going after Democrats. And in fact, they pushed a conspiracy for 4 years straight that is literally anti-democratic. The idea that Trump and Putin worked together to basically win the 2016 election, anti-democratic. The whole Democrat Party pushed a conspiracy that the 2016 election was rigged for 4 years straight. Where are you at on that? Why are you aligning yourself with a party that paved the way for election conspiracies? But you're trying to tell me, oh, I'm so against election deniers. I'm waging a crusade against election deniers. But you are aligning yourself with election deniers, right? Again, it blows my mind. And this is why people like Liz Cheney, the praise they're getting from the mainstream level media, it's just so cringe. She's such a garbage person because I can see right through the fakery. I can see right through it. A real sacrificial lamb would be principled on this issue and to say, you know what? I'm going to go out to both parties, right? I'm going to call out both sides. That's when you really, really, really are standing on your principles. Because in today's society, today's political environment, there's really nothing to be gained from doing that. But that's not what she's doing. She's looking out for herself because she wants to be a part of the club. She wants to be a part of the club. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.